welcome back to another episode of HWISers, where we talk about the big little things at HWIS. Today we're talking about the pressure to be exceptional, something I think a lot of people quietly deal with. So I'm pretty curious about how this shows up differently for each of us. And I think there's really no right answer here, just your honest experience. And today I'm with Ethan and Jessica, which are two of my best friends in school. So Ethan and Jessica, what are your first thoughts on this topic?
I think there are a lot to talk about this topic because Asians like to compare and have a lot of expectations on their child. So I mean, this is a great chance to talk about what we feel.
I think it's a great opportunity. What about you, Jessica?
I think for me, the pressure to be exceptional is kind of always there, even when no one is directly saying it. And it is also very relatable to all of us.
I think this topic is just like so important for every teenage people in this universe, I guess. So let's jump into like the details. And I think the first question is more of like for Ethan. So as you are like a straight A student, so do you think like the pressure feels like your own voice because you want yourself to be exceptional, or is it something that's influenced by your environment or other people?
I think mainly the pressure comes from myself because I am very lucky to have a family that does not give me a lot of pressure on my future path. So I get to pick my own path. But I think I'm a bit of perfectionism, so I tend to compete with others unknowingly, so that just gives me a lot of pressure sometimes.
I think that's also very true from like what I've observed being around you. And I think it's great that you also know that yourself. And the next question is for Jessica. So I know you're doing art, right? So the next question is for Jessica. Have you ever questioned the path you're on? And if so, why or why not?
Yeah, I definitely have, especially because I choose to pursue art, which isn't always recognized or understood by everyone. So there are moments where I question if it's a safe or practical path, especially when I see people choosing more traditional careers. Sometimes it feels like the value of what I'm doing depends on whether other people can understand it or not, and that can be really discouraging. But at the same time, I keep coming back to it. I think art is the one thing I've been consistently drawn to, even when I've tried other things. I think questioning my path actually made me more certain about it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think a quote for you that I read I really like, which is, "It's doing it despite the fear that makes a good story." And I hope that inspires you in a way, because I know it's a path that requires a lot of courage. And so moving on, I think our society kind of don't really accept this thing called failure. And so I want to know how you guys perceive failure. Like, do you think it's the end of life or end of the world, or like how do you deal with it?
I think failure is an important part of our life because you have to go through failure to grow. But as an Asian, when I encounter failure, I must say that I'll be in denial first and then crash out. However, I think I have to adapt it as soon as possible and to embrace it.
Okay, great. What about you, Jessica?
I agree with Ethan, and to keep it short, I think failure is uncomfortable, but it's also kind of necessity.
I think that both views are pretty valid, and I think failure is just like something in life that you have to go through. And so that leads us to the last question, and I think it's probably the most most important question, because all of us struggle with this achievement versus happiness topic. So do you think like being high achieving actually correlates with happiness, or do you think those two things can be separated?
I think they are actually separated because Asians tend to compare with each others. So when you achieve a higher level, you compare with yourself with people that are even higher, and that just leads to burnout and dissatisfaction. So I think high achieving does not really correlate with happiness.
Yeah, I think that is very true. Like, I think it's all those labels that's placed in us, and that's not what we should seek for. How about you, Jessica?
I think high achievement correlates with happiness, but it doesn't guarantee happiness. And it can actually create more pressure sometimes. I think happiness comes more from feeling fulfilled, but not just achieving things.
Yeah, I think I really liked both of your ideas on achievement versus happiness, and I think that's something that everyone can take away from this episode. So stay tuned for the next episode. And
Thank you.